Hello again, and welcome to Dragon Trail's first of two webinars this July. Today, we'll be talking about new B2B digital marketing tools for China. For those of you who may be attending a Dragon Trail webinar for the first time and haven't heard from me in the past, my name is Sienna Perulis-Cook, and I'm Dragon Trail's Communications Manager. I'm based at Dragon Trail's UK office, and my work focuses on Dragon Trail's educational resources. So that includes webinars like this one, articles and reports that you'll find published on our website, including our quarterly WeChat rankings reports for travel brands. The Q2 report for this year will actually be released later today, so look out for that. I'm also involved in our China Outbound Travel Pulse video series that we create together with the China Outbound Tourism Research Institute. Those videos are available to watch again on our website as well as our YouTube channel. And I run Dragon Trail's social media accounts on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. Dragon Trail Interactive is a digital marketing and solutions agency that's focused entirely on outbound travel from China. We are celebrating our 10th anniversary this year. The company was founded in Beijing in 2009 and now has offices in Shanghai, Xi'an, as well as London and Lexington in the US. We serve clients around the world in a wide range of travel industry verticals, including tourism boards, hospitality, airlines, cruise lines, museums and attractions, and car rental companies. And you can find much more information about the company and case studies of our work on our website, dragontrail.com. I'm going to start today's webinar today by introducing some key developments and important things to understand about the Chinese travel trade before moving on to talk about specific products that fit into this context and give you new ways to do B2B marketing and training and empower Chinese travel agents to sell your destination or product. So these products include the Next Travel Market, an online travel trade show, WeChat pop-up stores, and WeChat Mini-Programs. I'll finish up today with a Q&A session. We also have Sean Lee from our TNTM team on the line to answer all of your questions about the Next Travel Market. And you can ask questions at any point during the webinar. Please ask your questions using the Q&A button, which you should see on your Zoom panel. Instead of asking the questions through the chat function, and this is because if you use the Q&A button, we're able to see the questions easily and make sure that we log those and answer them afterwards. In the chat, they tend to get a bit lost, so please do use the Q&A button. I should also note now that we will be sending a PDF of today's webinar slides to everybody, as well as a link to a recorded version of the webinar to all attendees in the coming days. So first, let's talk about the travel trade in China. Of course, if you've signed up for this webinar, you already know that the travel trade is still very relevant, even as Chinese outbound tourism market is changing. The Chinese travel trade is changing too, and it's becoming less traditional in many ways, and this means that our approach to working with them may need to be modernized as well. So first of all, how do travel agents work with their clients in China? It used to be that the client would visit the agent at their physical office, but these days in China, this is all going digital. So even older Chinese, the silver travelers, they may first meet a travel agent in person in the office, but then they'll stay in touch with the travel agent by using WeChat or QQ, which is another messaging service from Tencent. Travel agents may also run WeChat groups for clients who are interested in certain kinds of products or destinations. And for younger travelers in China that use travel agents, they may never actually meet the agent in person at all, but instead find them through an OTA, through a travel agency website or an agent's e-shop, or perhaps connect to them through a friend's recommendation when the friend shares the contact card. So what all of this means is that it's really helpful for Chinese travel agents to have lots of digital assets about products and itineraries that they can easily share with their clients over WeChat. While most travel agents Dragon Trail has interviewed say that they are absolutely fine with using email to communicate with overseas suppliers, it's important to understand that WeChat is really the preferred work communications tool in China. So it's actually about 4 times more popular than email for daily work communications, as you can see from this infographic. So that means that travel agents, even if they are open to using email, they're going to be seeing and checking WeChat a lot more often than their email. And it's also a more immediate way of communicating with them and where they're going to be more active. So WeChat also allows you to send larger files than you can attach to an email. So that is another advantage of using this for communicating with the Chinese travel trade. A major trend in Chinese outbound tourism is the rapid growth of travel from lower tier cities. So the first tier cities of Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen are still the core of the Chinese outbound travel market. But travel from so-called new first tier, second tier, and even third tier cities is all growing very fast. So one example of this is outbound tourism from Xi'an. It grew 360% in 2017 compared to the year before. Other cities maybe don't have growth rates that are quite so explosive, but they are very significant. So in addition to this, there's also an increasing trend of smaller travel agencies or second or third tier city travel agents that are looking to deal directly with overseas suppliers instead of going through bigger Chinese agencies that do wholesale. So reaching agents in these various cities can be quite logistically challenging because they're spread out all throughout the country. And you also can't necessarily rely on these agents to travel from smaller cities to big first-tier cities if you're conducting a traditional China roadshow that might combine, for instance, just Beijing and Shanghai. So the next thing to stress is the importance of video. Throughout this year, I've been talking about how video, especially short video, is the key B2C marketing trend in China right now. But it's also relevant for B2B as well. So some context for this is a few years ago, we interviewed a number of Chinese travel agents for a report that we were creating for a client. And our questions included asking them about what kinds of materials they wanted from their overseas suppliers. Back in 2017, nobody mentioned video. Then we did similar interviews this spring, and suddenly most of the agents were saying that they wanted video content, as well as the standard itinerary information and destination information and photos that they were requesting back in 2017. So this has been a noticeable shift just in the past year and a half. Video is huge in China right now, and agents can both learn from watching the videos, and even more importantly, they can share these videos directly with their clients. So you can actually use the same kinds of video assets for both B2C and B2B channels, since the idea is really to inspire and also to convey more about your destination or product that you can just through photos or written information. So the key point here is that it's important to have the video content in general, and then you can use that in different kinds of marketing channels. So with that background, I'd like to introduce a number of new products from Dragon Trail that are designed to meet the needs of travel brands working with today's travel trade. And the first of these products is the Next Travel Market, or TNTM. TNTM is a B2B trade show that's entirely online, and it can be used via mobile or desktop computers. You don't have to travel to China for it, as everything is digital, and it allows you to easily connect with hosted buyers and other trade visitors from all over China. Although TNTM is all online, it's not a virtual reality simulation of a trade show, but rather an easy-to-use map interface that looks like this. Visitors will see a map of the show, and featured exhibitors will stand out when they see a more distant view. Then they can click or tap to zoom in and see more detailed exhibitor information, and eventually visit the exhibitor's online booth, which we'll see in more detail in just a few slides' time. Exhibitors on TNTM will be able to book meetings with pre-qualified hosted buyers, which will take place in a private WeChat-based chat room. and this chat room supports multimedia file transfers as well as chat. Like at an offline trade show, there will be presentations which exhibitors can deliver live, but these presentations will also be recorded for a playback option for trade visitors that can't make the live webinar. So this is a good chance to be able to introduce your products and services to the trade and for them to be able to ask questions in a live Q&A. Then all of the data from your meetings, webinars, or any visitors that check into your booth will be logged. So you'll have a record of all of these interactions and information on which agents or agencies are the most interested in your product, as well as their contact information to stay in touch for long-term cooperation. TNTM also supports a direct B2B booking platform called World++, and this allows buyers to immediately do business and buy products from you. So here on the screen, you can see how TNTM works for the visitor, zooming in on the map to see exhibitor booths and then opening the exhibitor hub page, which is basically the digital equivalent to visiting a booth at an offline trade show. The hub page is a profile of the exhibitor with introductory information, contact details, links, and downloadable materials. So that's kind of your digital brochures and information that you might hand out to somebody if it was a physical booth. The agent will be able to check into the booth, so leaving their digital business card, and then you'll be able to see that they visited and follow up with them. They'll also be able to schedule appointments with you and access any recorded webinar presentations that you have available or find information about upcoming webinars. When you have a pre-scheduled meeting with a buyer, you'll both get meeting reminders before the meeting, and then you'll end up meeting in a private chat room that looks like this. So the private chat room will allow you to send links and files such as images, brochures, and video, as well as text chats. Here's an example of the webinar presentations and how they would look on desktop and mobile. Presenters have 45 minutes to present a live or pre-recorded webinar, and we can provide Chinese language support for this. The webinar can include PowerPoint slides as well as video, and it will be recorded for agents to be able to access after the live presentation time. 250 hosted buyers have been invited to join TNTM, and these buyers will be able to make appointments with exhibitors, and they will also receive a list of recommended exhibitors to help guide them. Again, we will send these slides to everyone after the webinar, so you don't need to try to write down all of the numbers here. But briefly looking at other information from our TNTM buyer survey, we can see that 83% of buyers sell customized tour products and nearly 80% sell leisure travel. Nearly half sell MICE travel products and over half sell luxury travel. We also have visitors and buyers who sell family travel, educational travel, cruise, self-driving, outdoor travel, and many other categories, as you can see here. We will have buyers that sell travel to the whole world, including Antarctica, but there is especially a strong focus on Europe and North America. The buyers come from all over China, which will help you to reach a wide market very easily. So this is in contrast to a traditional offline show, where a Beijing exhibit is mostly focused on buyers from Northeast China. A Guangzhou show will be mostly focused on South China, and so on and so forth. The hosted buyers come from China's leading travel agencies, including Kaisa, Ctrip, CTS, Tongcheng, Fliggy, and Mafengwo, among others. All of the agents in our trade database of over 36,000 will also be able to attend TNTM as visitors. So moving on to the next product I'd like to talk about is WeChat pop-up stores, which are really a B2B2C tool more than just a B2B one. In December of 2018 and March of 2019, Dragon Trail launched 2 WeChat pop-up stores on behalf of PromPeru, the Peruvian Tourism Board. The pop-up stores, which lasted several hours each, provided a platform for consumers to interact directly with travel agents who sell tours to Peru. The pop-up stores were attended by 21 travel agents from different parts of China and representing 14 different travel agencies. These agents had 36 different tour products on offer, which consumers could look through on the pop-up store landing page before and during the live event. And then they could choose to talk to live agents about their questions on the itineraries or general questions they had about travel to Peru. This diagram shows how the whole pop-up store system worked, including multiple promotion channels in the weeks leading up to the event, which directed consumers to the landing page where they could then check out the itineraries for themselves, share the itineraries through WeChat with their friends, and register for the pop-up store. They would then also receive a push message reminder on WeChat before the live event. And during the hours that the pop-up store was open, they could log into the store and chat directly with the agents. Agents could then send a booking link to clients through the chat function on the pop-up store, or they could exchange contact details with the client for follow-up services and post-event sales. So after viewing the itineraries on the landing page, consumers could then opt to speak to an agent with more detailed question and to get more information from them. And then they would be routed through Dragon Trail's Kankan Talk intelligent chat interface to an available agent that would be able to provide details on that scheduled selected itinerary. So there are a few screenshots of the chat below, which you can see supported file transfers such as images and documents, as well as the written chat. And also, in addition to itinerary-specific questions, we found that for these pop-up stores, customers also had a lot of general questions about travel to Peru, especially about visa requirements. And as the agents were all agents that had experience selling travel to Peru, they were exactly the right people to answer all of these questions about travel to Peru. The pop-up stores were promoted through a number of channels. So these included the participating travel agents and travel agencies, also through PromPeru's Chinese social media channels on WeChat and Weibo, through several travel influencer accounts on WeChat, and even through an H5 travel-themed game where players could win Peruvian souvenirs and then also receive information about the pop-up store. So although Peru is quite a niche travel destination compared to countries in Southeast Asia or even Europe, the pop-up store attracted a lot of attention with more than 4,200 landing page visitors and more than 500 consultations. As I explained before, Chinese consumers are now used to interacting with travel agents over WeChat, so pop-up stores like this one provides a really good platform to do that. We're currently looking to develop WeChat pop-up stores for other destinations, and we would especially recommend this product for travel brands that have a very good B2C following on WeChat already, as this will enable you to promote the pop-up store most effectively to consumers. The last product I'm going to introduce today is WeChat Mini-Programs and how you can use these in your work with the Chinese travel trade. If you're not familiar with WeChat Mini-Programs, they're essentially light apps that users access from within WeChat. They were first introduced at the start of 2017, and they've become quite popular since they're easy to use, they don't take up much memory on your phone, and definitely not as much memory as standalone apps, and users don't have to leave WeChat to access them. In the context of travel, most WeChat mini-programs are consumer-focused, but they can also be used for B2B. An example of this is Visit Sweden, which now has their travel agent training program and B2B webinars all integrated into a WeChat mini-program. Visit Sweden was actually the first travel brand to use Dragon Trail's China Travel Academy, or CTA program on WeChat to train Chinese travel agents. So Visit Sweden has been using this platform since 2015, and they've released several different courses over the years for travel agents to learn more about Sweden and become officially accredited to sell travel to this destination. In 2018, the tourism board wanted to release a new edition of the program, and they wanted to then upgrade it from the original H5 into a WeChat mini program. The mini program is even easier to find and use, and it can be accessed by scanning a QR code that you'll see on the screen here at the top. So when travel agents use the CTA training program, they get to choose among different modules to learn from, such as guides to different parts of Sweden, or for example, there's one on Swedish holidays. Then they start to learn in the module through reading the text, seeing photos. The platform also supports video content, and then they have to pass a quiz at the end of each section to be permitted to move on to the next one. The course can be done on a mobile phone or a computer, so it's very convenient for busy travel agents to take the course in their free time. The course is also incentivized with the chance to win prizes and an official certificate upon completion of the program. Students can also easily track their progress and connect with contacts who are also enrolled in CTA. So CTA, of course, in addition to Visit Sweden, there are about 20 different travel brands that have all used CTA and have courses on it. CTA can also be connected to WeChat Work, which is a separate app that's used by companies in China to do things like work communications and log annual leave. So the CTA training program can be distributed to employees of travel agencies this way. So the other side of Visit Sweden's mini program, in addition to the CTA training course, is CTA Live. And CTA Live, we call it an online roadshow for WeChat. It's a live webinar platform that allows you to reach travel agents all over China with live Q&A, a playback function, and data collection to inform and enhance future B2B marketing. Like CTA, CTA Live is fully integrated with WeChat, which we've seen earlier is by far the most popular work communications tool in China. As CTA Live is always run through a mini program, it's also easily promoted and shared with a QR code, and each webinar is also promoted to Dragon Trail's database of over 36,000 registered travel agents. Data collection on CTA Live gets you all of the travel agents' contact information, which agency they work for, and where they're located in China. So this gives you very important insights and is very helpful for any kind of targeted promotions or communications or even offline events in the future. So returning to Sweden's mini program, when you first open the mini program, you'll see all of the CTA modules and a button at the top to go to the live studio. So that is the screenshot that you can see on the left-hand side, and the button to go to the live studio is marked in red. So once you click on that, it takes you to the live studio part of the mini program, and that is where users can see all of the webinars that have been recorded through CTA Live, and also see webinars that are happening at present. And then they can click on the button at the top of the screen there that's marked in red to return to the CTA homepage. So once inside the live studio part of the mini program, users can open any of the webinar modules to see more information about the course and its presenters. They can watch the recording, and they can also download PowerPoints and video content that were included in the webinar and review the Q&A from the live session. One additional way that WeChat mini programs can be used for B2B communications is by sharing a B2C mini program with travel agents. So more and more cities, attractions, and businesses from all around the world have WeChat mini programs these days. And these WeChat mini programs usually have tons of helpful information, including maps, listings, photos, and suggested itineraries. The example that you'll see here on the screen is PromPeru's recently launched mini program for Lima. So although these mini programs are usually designed with the consumer in mind, As you might be able to imagine, they can be very helpful for sharing information with travel agents as well, so that the travel agent gets a better understanding of the destination, and they can also then share the mini program with their clients to give them more information about the destination, or for instance, shopping possibilities in the destination, or potential hotels that the travel agent can help them to book. And then by sharing the mini program this way, it helps to expand the user numbers of your WeChat mini program. So before we move on to the Q&A session, I'd like to tell you about our next webinar, which is actually coming up in less than 2 weeks on Tuesday, July 30th. We've chosen to do a bonus second webinar this month in cooperation with the Chinese travel-focused media, Jing Travel, to present the biggest developments in Chinese tourism and travel tech for the first half of 2019. With a deep dive into our WeChat rankings for the first half of the year, and what these results tell us about Chinese consumer patterns and which kinds of marketing themes and strategies are working best for travel brands on WeChat. So more information about that webinar can be found on the event section of our website now, and registration is already open for it. So at this point, I will move on to the Q&A session of the webinar. I should also remind you again that we have Sean Lee from our TNTM team on the line to help answer your questions about that. We also have lots of additional information on the website, including articles and case studies on the Visit Sweden's WeChat mini program that I shared about, as well as the PromPeru pop-up stores, and videos and additional information about TNTM there as well.